Hi, my name is Dr. Ashraf Affan. I'm a pediatrician with Angel Kids Pediatrics. I'm going to be talking to parents today about fever. Fever is really a subject that we have a lot of questions from parents all the time. You know, mostly people, a lot of sick visits come to pediatric offices across the board everywhere because of fever. I wanted to tell people that fever really is not a bad thing, believe it or not. But fever could be something that it's good sometimes because it tells us that something is happening. So it is a manifestation of an infection going on in our body, or something is going wrong in our body, and then we can investigate and know what's going on, and we address the issue. So if, for example, a child come to us with a fever, we do an examination, we find hopefully a focus of infection, we call it. It could be an ear infection, it could be a throat infection, it could be a urine infection, or whatever is an infection going on. We give the proper management for that. It could be an antibiotic, or it could be something that we needed to do, and then we just combat that infection, and the problem is solved. So when fever happens, I need people to understand that really it's not a big issue as far as we are prepared. What I wanted people to understand and be ready for this, I would recommend for all parents who have kids at home to keep a fever reducer at home. It's really a good idea to have a fever reducer. There are a couple of different fever reducers. It's either ibuprofen or acetaminophen. There are a couple of brand names that you can find, but if you go to our website www.myangelkids.com, you're going to have a big chart with a fever reducer to how to manage fever. It gives you the dose with the age and weight. It's really very, very important that we follow the chart for the fever reducers for all kids, that goes by their age and their weights, and the frequency of how we dose the fever reducers, because a lot of people might just mistakenly either under dose this, and if we don't give the right dose, we might not be able to get rid of the fever, or if we have, or we mistakenly give a high dose of a fever reducer, might cause a lot of problems for us and for our kids. So we have to be really very careful. I would recommend to keep a fever reducer at home, as I mentioned, either acetaminophen or ibuprofen, and as I mentioned, there are lots of different brand names in the market that you can find in any pharmacy or a supermarket, and I would refer you to our website myangelkids.com to find the chart, and you can find those charts everywhere, and you can get to know the dose according to the weight of your baby. The couple of tips that I wanted to give to parents, that people sometimes mistakenly think that when a kid is teething, he or she might have a fever. This is a complete misconception. Please, I need people to understand that when a kid is teething, there is no fever involved in this, okay? So this might be a little bit, new to some parents, that, okay, now, what are the signs of teething? Yes, when my baby is teething, a lot of babies will be teething around 6 months of age. This is when the teeth are erupting from the gum, and you could see them on the surface. So baby might be drooling. This is one sign of teething, okay? Baby might have a little bit of loose stools at that time. He or she might be irritable, having, wants to bite on different things. That's an okay situation, but there would not be fever. Please, whenever your baby or kid or any human, even yourself, myself, anybody who has a fever, I would really address it. Could be a throat infection, could be an ear infection, urine infection, as I mentioned. I would really see a physician, see my doctor, and see where this fever is coming from. There might be an infection going on somewhere in my body, and that needs to be addressed. So as I mentioned to you, fever is not a diagnosis itself. It is a manifestation of an infection going on in my body, and as soon as we realize what this infection is, we do a full examination on those kids, and we realize what that is, and we address it. Problem is solved. Is not a big deal as far as we know the right dose, the frequency, how we chart and how we dose the medication for our kids, then there is no problem at all. So I would love for parents to understand about fever reducers, how to do it. The problem is a little bit different when we have have kids under 2 months of age, please, I'm going to be talking in a different episode about taking temperature for babies under 2 months of age. It's going to be in a different episode, but for now we can talk about taking temperature on the forehead. There are different thermometer that you can find. I would recommend to have a good quality thermometer that you can do under the arm, on the forehead. The cutoff temperature usually is 38 degree Celsius or 101 Fahrenheit. So as I mentioned, when you go to our chart, you will be able to see the degree of temperature, and this is a cutoff temperature when you need to get the fever reducer for your kid and see the frequency of giving it. By this, I will end this episode of the fever, and please follow us up on the YouTube channel for more information.